a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
In a world littered by color by numbers, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and woke after-school special movies, comes a beast from the East. This insert season here. Get ready to have your mind blown away. Action, excitement, alluring women, battles, snakes, and tattoos. Time to put down the vanilla and try something more exotic. Now. Roll that intro. Hey, all you beautiful movie-loving people out there, live from a red carpet somewhere, surrounded by celebrities. This is the Movies Merica podcast with Van Ebert, where movie reviews meet cold brews. Van will review your favorite and maybe not so favorite movies while enjoying some ice-cold beers and saying cheers. Now let's head into the theater and join our illustrious movie reviewer du jour, who's no doubt got the beer ready to pour, Van Ebert. Hello, movie lovers. Hey, come on in here. Okay. doing my impression of Cheech Marin from Dusk Till Dawn there. Love him in that movie there. But hey, that being said, welcome into this latest Movies Merica episode, everybody. Yes. We are getting a little bit different here this week. I am going and reviewing something a little extra special this week here. We're getting exotic. We're going global, absolutely. So, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. I think you really need to give this movie a chance. And that movie you need to make a chance or take a chance with is Baahubali, The Beginning. Absolutely. This is a great movie from Indian cinema. And you know what? Hey, just for a little taste, or at least a little bit of the music from this fantastic movie, here it is.
It's been so long now. To my eyes, like a boat in the storm.
Yeah. So, hey, to get that music, but about 2.5 hours of it, along with some fantastic action and adventure and battle scenes and chase scenes and just a whole lot of just cool kinetic action. Yeah, you definitely need to check out this movie, Baahubali here. So, and but before we get too far into the movie here, just let me remind you that this podcast is on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other podcast platforms that you can think of. Absolutely, it's right there. And then also, if you happen to be on Apple Podcast, zip on down to the very bottom of all the episodes, and you're going to see those fantastic, tantalizing 5 stars just drawing you in. And feel free to give it a 5-star rating while you're down there. You know, if you're just in a friendly mood, you're having a good day, you're feeling the good vibes, and you're really liking what you're hearing so far, then yeah, give me a 5-star rating down there, friend. You bet. And then since you're down there anyway, there's a write a review button right by those 5 stars. And you know what? You might as well click on that. And then just write a quick review. You know, it doesn't have to be War and Peace. It doesn't have to be a Stephen King novel. You know, it can be a few words, and I'm hoping those few words are something very, very good for me. But you know what? Hey, if you've, got some constructive criticism, by all means, hey, you know what? Let loose, unleash, you bet. So I encourage total honesty, for sure, yes. And also, I have the episodes on moviesmerica.com, and it's featuring my brand new logo. I updated the logo for Movies Merica on the website, and then also on social media, on the social media accounts under Twitter and Instagram. And then I have a Facebook page for Movies Merica. You'll see the spiffy new Movies Merica logo, and you'll also see it on the podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, so on and so forth there. And all right, so with that out of the way, if you've listened to this podcast before, you know that this is the home of movie reviews mixed with ice cold brews. Yes. And today's lucky brew that I will be reviewing is the Karbachi Hopadillo IPA. That's right. So I am going to be going over, a classic in Indian cinema. And so I just thought that, hey, a little IPA, a little India Pale Ale seems apropos to, the fantastic movie that I'll be reviewing there for you today. Absolutely. And so, yeah, Karbachi Hopadillo IPA is out of Houston, Texas. And it's a classic IPA. Every once in a while, periodically, I like an IPA. I like all kinds of different beers. But I just had a Kolsch, a little earlier today. Now I'm switching to the IPA. And, yeah, it's not bad. It's it's not spectacular. It's not a mind-blowing IPA, but it's definitely nothing you're going to want to spit out. So, and again, I'm not getting any kind of endorsement money from any of these breweries that I review the beers for on here. I just like good beer. And this is a good beer. And I will be taking full advantage of it as I review this movie here. So, but hey, before I do a deep dive on Baahubali here, I'm going to get a little drink because you know what? It could be a long ride. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. So let's get into Baahubali. And this movie is by no means not a new movie at all. It came out in 2015. But I have been recently in the middle of a phase, and I'm sure this phase isn't going to end because I like what I've seen and heard so far from Indian cinema. And it's such a great departure from just the same old cookie cutter, movies that come out of Hollywood. And, Hollywood still comes out with some movies, but man, they just do not provide enough variety often enough, at a rapid enough pace or at a frequent enough pace, So you got to branch out and check out, what's cooking in cinema, from different countries, Korea, India, what have you. So, and one thing I do like, one of the few things I like about Netflix is Netflix does have a pretty good selection of Indian cinema on it. And I will be the first to admit that my viewing of RRR or Triple R or Rise Revolt, Revolution, I forget what the 3 R's, forgive me for what the 3 R's mean here. But yeah, RRR is a fantastic movie, and it got me back into Indian cinema. Of course, I saw Slumdog Millionaire, but that wasn't an Indian filmmaker. That was Danny Boyle, but obviously it featured India in the storyline there. But yeah, Triple R, it has got me fired up. It's got me in a fever for Indian cinema. And this movie, Baahubali, is from the same director of Triple R, S.S. Rajamouli. And he's just got great vision, man. Just fantastic vision. I'm sure all of us, we have from time to time, some more often than others, these fantastical, mythical, stories that go on in our head. And most people just kind of dismiss them like, okay, whatever. It's just kind of a cool kind of story that I have in my head, or it's a story that I dreamt of and I just happen to remember the dream. Well, S.S. Rajamouli, he goes beyond that. He's like, I got this story that's in my head, and I am going to get that story out to the world, okay? I am going to put it out visually for the world, for them to see. I'm going to see if they like it and if they enjoy it just as much as I did when I imagined it, right? So, or, when the screenwriter imagined it or whatever. But that's one thing that I really respect from S.S. Rajamouli is that he's just one of those classic directors that wants to entertain you with the movie. He's not trying to preach to you. He's not trying to sermonize. He's not trying to be like, you know what, this is the way I think it is, and this is the way you better think it is. Like, no. He wants to provide a visual feast for you, a audible feast for you, okay? He basically wants your eyes to pop out of your head. He wants your mouth to go agape, right? He wants you to be able to escape, the real world, and I'm sure, all of us would attest that, this world today, we need as many escapes as possible, as a reprieve, as a, to get a little R&R, from, the clown show that is the world today. And S.S. Rajamouli is happy to help you out in that regard. So, but like I mentioned, this movie is out on Netflix, and so it's readily available if you've got Netflix, along with Triple R is out there. From the very beginning of this movie, it's got like these captivating, alluring visuals. It's just very magical, and it's all leading up to like a very action-packed, battle ridden epic, but it starts off slowly, in a quiet, mythical manner, kind of just a colorful, entrancing, meditative beginning to this movie. But even in that, it gives you the impression that, okay, we're in for some danger with this movie. Okay, lives are at stake. There's going to be some death, some destruction going on, but it's a build up to that. So, and it just clues you into the fact that you're about to go for a mystical and mysterious ride with this movie, Baahubali. And now, one thing that I noticed here, in this, because you don't see this in American cinema here, but there's a scene where one of the main characters is fighting a bull, and the bull is clearly CGI. And even at the beginning of the movie, like I think even before the opening credits, they make a point of saying that no animals are harmed in this movie. They're all CGI. Now, typical American cinema, you see that as like a blurb, like towards the very end of the end credits. You'll see like no animals were harmed, and it's got the the National Humane Society logo and all that down here. With this movie, they definitely make a point to let you know that these are all CGI animals, that are being mistreated or harmed or whatever. But this movie goes one step further. There's a scene where a bull is being fought, it's being abused, and they put the letters CGI down at the bottom of the screen right there. And I don't know. Call me the stupid, ignorant, ugly American. I'm not sure, but I would guess that it has to do with the Indian tradition of holding sacredness for cows. I don't know. So I'm completely just like spitballing and theorizing here. So you might be listening to this and going, "That's not at all why." Hey, you know what? That's cool. It's not the first time I've been wrong. It won't be the last. But yeah, so this movie, it revolves around a kingdom called Mahishmate, and it's the visuals, the CGI that's used to create this kingdom, and like the big city, that composes this is pretty cool. I mean, it's got some very cool environments. I would say production designer went all out, and I guess a production designer, I'm sure, was involved with this, but most of it is CGI. But that's one thing I like about Indian cinema is like just the colors are so rich and vibrant. They're not afraid to make things very vivid and bombastic with the color. A lot of American cinema, they try to like wash out all the colors as much as possible because that's supposed to make the movie edgy and like it's gripping. Supposed to make it more serious, I guess. So, but this one, this is a colorful visual feast for the eyes throughout this whole movie. And now, like I said, this movie does have a lot of action, and I have to say, the action concepts in this movie make the Fast and Furious movies look like a Nat Geo documentary, okay? I mean, you'll watch this movie, and you'll see the action, and, the characters flying around in the air, and, the landings and all that stuff, and what they do with swords and that kind of thing. And, just go into this movie with a suspension of disbelief, because this movie is not trying to be a documentary. Okay, it's very fantastical. It gives a lot of the main characters like these godlike abilities, and so it's supposed to be fun, and you're supposed to go into it knowing you're watching a movie. Okay, and so just I think you'll enjoy the movie so much more if you go in with that mentality. Just go in with the mentality of, hey, it's a movie, I'm here to be entertained, and this movie is going to entertain you. Okay, guarantee it. This movie, it's took 600 days to film this sucker. Yeah, it's and I think when you'll see it, when you see the battle sequences, you'll understand why it took 600 days to film. I mean, the set pieces are very elaborate. The battle scenes involve a lot of extras, apparently, and I can just imagine just the infrastructure and the logistics involved with making that all happen with just these elaborate, expansive, massive set pieces. And again, a lot of the set pieces are done with CGI, but you can clearly tell that some of it is not, and it's, that's going to take some time. Absolutely. And I'm not sure of the Indian cinema procedures or setup or what the process is for that. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's why it takes that long to film. Who knows? But however long it took to film, it looks great. It looks great on the screen. And so if it took 1,200 days, it'd be well worth it, because it's definitely it definitely has a lot of flair, has a lot of joie de vivre. I mean, this movie is just fantastical. And one part of it that makes it fantastical is it seamlessly transitions from more grounded, earthly scenes to dreamlike, fantastical scenes. Okay, there's moments of, human interaction, mothers and fathers and children, interacting with each other, friends, hanging out, and just the natural humanistic, grounded scenes that those are, but then you're whisked away to a scene where someone's climbing these big cliffs that are washed over by this massive waterfall, and climbing to these heights where obviously, falling would mean certain doom, right? And it just the fantastical, feats of adventure. They're swinging from vines and clutching dear, for dear life, to these sheer cliffs and mountains and all that kind of stuff. So, and all with this rich color palette that accompanies these fantastical scenes, these mythical scenes here, and also the screenplay. For a special effects laden, CGI rich movie like this, the screenplay surprisingly features, very funny, quippy, teasing, and also emotional, heartfelt, and gripping dialogue. It's got a little bit of everything. And much of the dialogue, comes from Prabhas, and he's the guy who stars as Baahubali in this, and you see him from the beginning of the movie, but you see him as a baby, and so it all just it blows into the rest of the movie from there. And the character of Baahubali, it does kind of have hints to me of Jason Bourne in his character arc, in that he doesn't know right away who or what he really is. And like Jason Bourne, he gets amnesia. He doesn't know that he's who he is. He doesn't know he's a CIA operative, right? But so in that way, yeah, he doesn't know who or what he really is, for most of the movie, but he does know that he has these almost godlike abilities. And Prabhas plays the character in a down-to-earth manner that makes you care about him, and he's got some just funny, quippy, teasing dialogue, with different characters, and like most prominently with Avantika, if I'm saying that name correctly here, probably butchering that name, but this beautiful, alluring woman, mighty warrior character that he meets up with, and he's got some just kind of fun banter, kind of flirty banter back and forth with her. And so the screenplay is very rich and very varied. Very varied. Okay, that was terrible. And speaking of women characters, I mean, the women characters in this, I enjoyed them immensely. They're purposeful, they're strong, they're resolute, yet they exude feminine beauty and maternalism. Pretty much, in short, a pretty way of not taking any crap, is the main theme for the women characters in Baahubali. And again, one thing that scares people from wanting to get into Indian cinema is the musical sequences, okay? But don't be scared away from the musical sequences, my fellow American audience, okay? All right? They're not what you think, okay? And they provide, believe me, a welcome departure from a lot of the ho-hum, by the numbers American movies we see now, okay? The dry, bland, we've seen it all before, American movies. The musical numbers in this movie just provide just a welcome departure from that. And now we as American moviegoers, we're not used to having that in movies unless the movie is specifically marketed as a musical, right? Chicago, La La Land, whatever, In the Heights, West Side Story. Those are explicit musicals, right? We know what we're getting with those. And Indian cinema, they've combined the two. They have like your conventional movie, but then they combine musical numbers within it, right? And this one, the musical numbers aren't as pronounced as the musical numbers, like say in Triple R, but they're a good time. They're a good time. I mean, if you put your if you put your guard down, okay, and you just stop trying to be too cool for the room, okay. I think you'll really kind of enjoy the musical numbers in here, and they just they seamlessly put them into the movie, okay. They don't jar you out of the out of the fun that you're having watching this movie. They fit right in seamlessly, with the non-musical parts of the movie. And I expect that some American newcomers, to Indian cinema, like Baahubali, will kind of find some of the movie corny, okay? But I would encourage you to just check your cynicism and your need to be edgy at the door, okay? Before you watch this movie, and you're gonna like this movie, okay? I mean, it's I guarantee it, you're gonna like this movie. It's fantastic, and so with that, yeah, I think unless you're a complete moron, I think you get the idea that I think you should really check out this movie. I mean, the battle scenes are very intricate. I mean, they're wide. They're just these big, massive scale battle scenes that kind of remind me of the Battle of Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings, or Troy with Brad Pitt. The battle scenes in there where you just got so many soldiers going up against each other, and then some of the battlements they use, like the catapults and some of the battle armaments that are used in the tactics, are very cool. And the CGI, now the CGI, the one knock on the movie is that the CGI is not the best, okay? And but even in saying that, I think the CGI, it fits in with I think like just the mythical nature of this movie, okay? I think that they're going more for spectacle and just, wow, what am I seeing? They're going more for that than, Academy Award winning, like Industrial Light and Magic, Weta, kind of like intricate, the creme de la creme of CGI. They're not going for that, okay? Now, like the CGI, I think over in India, it wins awards for the visual effects. But yeah, you're not going to watch this movie and go like, wow, these are just seamless, fantastic, like mind-blowing special effects. Like, say, it's the first time you saw Jurassic Park, when that first came out back in the 90s, you're like, wow, I can't believe this looks so real. It's not that kind of CGI, but it doesn't need to be. It's not trying to be that, I don't think. But it's just trying to entertain you. And this movie definitely does that. So, yeah, I would check it out. And again, like I said, it's out on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you have no excuse. Just fire this movie up. I mean, it's right there at your fingertips. So, yeah, so it's Baahubali, The Beginning. And there is a Baahubali sequel out there as well. And so, yeah, you're not hurting for S. Rajamouli movies out there. But anyway, as always, I want to thank you for listening to this latest Movies Merica podcast episode. And again, feel free to let anybody you can think of that you think even remotely might like this podcast here, because it's not just this episode. We are over 50 episodes in to the Movies Merica empire. Absolutely. So I had the 50th episode a few episodes back. And we're gonna keep going strong. I mean, we're this thing ain't done anytime soon. No sirree, Bob. And so yeah, like I said, it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. You can check it out at moviesmerica.com. I'm on the social medias with Twitter and and Instagram. You can get to the episodes that way as well under Movies Merica on Twitter and Instagram. So with that, as I always say, my friends, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. Bye.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.